Hi and welcome to the Market Alert for Thursday, the 19th of August 2021. So Fed's taper talk tanks the dollar, oil and bond yields and stocks puke. How long before Fed speakers walk these minutes back? Well, I don't think it took too long actually when you look at what's happened overnight. So we'll see that in just a moment. FOMC minutes show most Fed members see tapering starting this year. No, not buying it. Most participants judged that it could be appropriate to start reducing pace of asset purchases this year. Nope, they're not able to do it. FOMC minutes preview. The minutes will be eyed for any suggestion that the Fed is on the cusp of signalling any intention of to taper, and I think that's the interesting word there. Intention of taper. It's USD 120 billion of asset purchases per month. That is in the near term. No, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. They can't let it happen. Other news yesterday: July inflation measures in the UK usually used to set annual rail fare rises in its highest in 10 years. That was the RPI, not the CPI. And the implied volatility also moving higher. Let me just zoom in. We're up from 1392 to 1667 because overnight or just before the Dow closed last night, the markets had a bit of a wobble to the downside, down 300 and odd points. Today's news: Philly Fed unemployment claims, and the metals have been hammered overnight, and silver's fared the worst, which you can see with the gold-silver ratio moving higher. You can now get 76 silver coins for 1 ounce of gold, which gets better by the day. Fine by me. You keep doing it, make it cheaper and more worthwhile as well as a potential investment risk-reward ratio as well. Okay, so let's start off with the Dow. We can see that yesterday we had further selling in the Dow. We didn't get any retracement back up to the 89% area for the Dow. The market just holding steady and then selling off later on in the evening, which you can see here. This is the news at 7:30, this bar here, and then just before the close the market tanked to the downside 300 and odd points, and overnight it's still looking weakish. The market testing the low here and starting to round over as well at the moment. What we're looking for here is any sort of support in a retracement down to the 89 in the 30-minute area, which takes you back more or less to the low instead of memorizing the numbers. If you get down to the low in the overnight electronic market of the Dow, you will know that the market has done an 89%. Any close below this, we'll see a failure and the market then move lower to the S1, etc. So we'll see what happens with the futures market, whether it can support the Dow, bring it back to the upside in today's session. If not, then you're going to have to look for the 89 in here, which is 34814, which also, more or less this area here before we had the last move to the upside, where the market broke out of the sideways move that we've been seeing for some time there. So that's the downside targets for the Dow. If we break the 89 there, then we start making our way through this area here as well. Incidentally, there the 50% retracement ties in more or less with the 89% retracement in this minor corrective phase here. But other than that, then we start heading down through these numbers here, which will take us back to the last one-day correction that the market was allowed to have before moving back to the upside. So that's the bigger picture for the Dow. In the DAX, not looking as weak, but don't be fooled by that. It could soon play catch-up very quickly. Again, if we look back to a few weeks, you can see the one-day corrections there soon being reversed. We haven't got any big bars in the DAX, so we must be due for some. If we look at this here, you'll see that let me just remove this first and then just spread this out a bit so we can see what's going on. If we look at yesterday, you'll see the market came back to 78% retracement before failing, so I'm just going to remove that now. And on the downside, from here up to here. You can see again 89.78 levels here. They're easy to actually spot, because if you look where the low is and just come up a few points up off the low, and you'll see where the 89 is likely to be, and the 78 is easy just to eyeball after a while. But these are the areas that you want to watch this morning, and certainly this low here, because this is where the market was brought back on Tuesday. So the low of 15,807 is very important there for the German DAX. And after this, of course, we start. This is the next low, so you draw in your fibs down to this level, which is about the 20 bar moving average there at the moment. So yeah, there's an interesting point or tipping point at the moment with this market, unless the Fed come out and say they are going to taper, which, well, I think actually the delaying of the tapering is what's keeping the market on the high, to be honest, because when they did taper last time, or attempted to, the market's just tanked. You take the safety mechanism from underneath the market, i.e. the 120 billion per month that they've been pumping in, take that away, then immediately you have a problem, Houston, don't you? So the market will hold until they either announce it or they don't announce it, and either way it'll be as bad for each side, because then it just goes to show that they can't do it, which makes it uncertain, creates uncertainty, and again the potential for the market to correct. It needs to correct. It's not had a decent correction for a long time. Again, you can see the catch up overnight in the DAX there, already sitting at the low for yesterday as well. So crucial level. The low must come off the low to move back to the high. If it doesn't, then we start making our way through these fibs to the downside there, and certainly to this low here, 15,800. If you think of 15,800, crucial area, you can see them buying in on this on Tuesday, and then yesterday FOMC working our way down there. And the traders have taken advantage of this in the silver market overnight, give it a good hammering, which, we're so used to now. As I've said, prices moving lower, trading down to nearly 23 before moving off at the moment. But don't be fooled, lunchtime is the time. 1:30, they'll be bringing the market back. Gold also they're just sitting sideways, but you can see gold and silver, the difference in, again, the acceleration of the silver price to the downside in comparison to gold. Got it all kicking off in the Middle East, and potential for war, which is usually bullish for metals, and again they're still suppressing the price. And I think the reason is because they're moving into the dollar at the moment. It's seen as a quality asset, which is it is laughable. Devalued quality asset at a bargain basement price. It's just the better of all the currencies that are all being devalued at the moment with all of the printing that's going on. But there you go, you can see the dollar moving to the upside. And if you look at the weekly chart, so in the US dollar, we can see that we've got a double top at the moment at the 93.46. We've got two more targets to the upside here and the 200 MA. So this could just move slightly higher on a weekly basis. If we just draw in to this peak to here, you'll see that we're at 78% at the moment, 89 tying in with more or less the 200. It'll take a lot to get through these areas here in order to move to the upside. If I just draw that in there, you'll see that ties in with the 200 as well. So we could start to see a potential bottom in the metals markets as the dollar trades up to these areas here. And then finally, I'm just going to go back to the DAX and look at the 2-minute chart here. The market did absolutely nothing yesterday, even with the inflation news. It was waiting for the FOMC minutes more or less all day. So let me just move back to the two sessions. You can see there just quiet. Well, the first part of the session was just really quiet, and then eventually it broke to the downside there, and then a bit of a bounce, and then back, and then just sat on the DP, retested this, and then it just really didn't do a great deal at all. Managed to bounce back, and then in the afternoon moved higher with the Dow from the off. Never looked back at the 20 bar moving average, just kept pulling back, and then closing back above the 5 bar moving average as it moved back to where it started in the morning. And then overnight you've seen the market, or evening you saw the market move down with the Dow, and then overnight prices are fairly steady. We've gone through the low in the DAX, by the way, now, in between looking at it earlier and towards the end of the recording here. So that 15,800, wasn't it, was where I said that you'd have to watch out for, and that's down here at this level here. I'll just remind you of that. There you go, 15,807, and that's where it's tying in with the 2 minute, this BRN down here. Okay, that will do it for this one. If there is anything else to report, I'll let you know, but as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.